Hey, it's Cody. I'm here with The Endless Oracle by Eric. I think it might be pronounced male. If it's wrong, sorry. It just occurred to me I probably should have asked him how to say his last name, but too late for that now. So this was a Kickstarter deck by the same creator as the Inkwitch Tarot. This is the Endless Oracle. At the time that I'm filming this, I don't know if everyone's Endless Oracle has even been mailed out yet. I know that there are some people who still haven't gotten theirs. I actually got this the day before yesterday. I didn't get it out of my mailbox until last evening. Yesterday was a Sunday, and for some reason I always just assumed that, like, if it's mine, it's probably going to be the last one shipped out. So I was not expecting mine to already be here. Spent a freezing cold night in the mailbox. I feel kind of bad about that, but maybe it added to its energy being out there under a freezing cold, clear night sky, right? Okay, let's get into this deck. It's got a guidebook with it. If anyone saw my Instagram post about this, I posted on Instagram like last night as soon as I got it that I said I wasn't going to read the guidebook. But then Eric commented and said that he designed this deck so that you don't have to use the guidebook. You can if you want to. So I did go ahead and read the stuff in it, besides like the card meanings. So we'll look at that. Let's look at the cards first. Glossy. It's a hard box here. It's not like a little tuck box or anything. Okay, so the interesting thing about this deck, I think this is pronounced Miriorama. So, if you don't know, a Miriorama is, it used to be like a children's toy. It was a deck of cards where you could line all the cards up and it would look like one continuous picture. My gosh. I want to say, I think that, James R. Eads, I believe is his name. I can't remember the deck that he made. There's like a black and white version, and there's a colored version. It's very swirly. I'll have to put it in the description box when I look it up after this. He did something similar to this, but I could be wrong, but I think they only line up in that deck if the cards are in order. In this one, any card can sit next to the other ones. I don't know if you can see on here. And it makes it look like a continuous landscape. That's fucking cool. Okay, so that's really, first of all, I have the Inkwitch Tarot. I fucking love it. And so as soon as I saw this, I was watching on Eric's Instagram. I saw him making cards for it. I was like, I'm gonna fucking back this the minute that it comes out. Like, I signed up on Kickstarter to get a little notification so that I wouldn't be fucking first in line for this shit. So yeah, and then I saw how the cards were gonna function, and that's even fucking cooler, but what I wasn't ready for was really how powerful these cards are. Alright, stop. I act like I'm about to open the box and then I start rambling. Alright, we got magnetic closure. And, look at this. Sorry about the fucking sunlight, but I don't control the sun. Cool. Alright, so we got a ribbon, but I did want to point out that we got a little extra room in here. And I'm wondering if that means there might be an expansion pack at some point. I hope so, because that would be fucking fun. Alright, so we'll get our little cards out. These were originally in alphabetical order. I did not put them back in alphabetical order. Kind of the point of this deck is that it doesn't have an order, so yeah, I figured fuck it. The backs look like a little path to the mountain there, which I do have to say I have the this is the Inkwitch deck, tarot deck right here. Similar background or back pattern, I guess, except this one has this cool little picture here. It makes them not reversible, but I don't think these cards would really work being reversed. Alright, so we'll just look. Alright, what I really like, first of all, this is kind of like one of those limited color palette decks, which I love. A lot of colors feel overwhelming to me, so I tend to not go for those. So these are beautiful, deep blues, black and white. We've got the Gathering Clouds. The Cottage in the Woods. The Birds. I don't know, can you see these? I'm like, the Well. The Night. The Procession. The Ships. So something super cool about this deck is there is something in the sky of each of these cards. This is the Sagittarius card. So if you look up here, there's the Sagittarius constellation. There's one for each of the 12 zodiac signs. There are planets, there are certain asteroids, which is just a whole nother level to this deck. This deck is just so thoughtful. It was so wonderfully thought out. So much time and effort went into this. And a lot of times when I approach like an oracle deck, I feel like a lot of times there's just not that much thought put into it, just flinging some shit on cards. But this one is just so well thought through. Here's a dark figure. These, they're a little bit Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, and some part of me, my gut knows what these cards mean. Like, does that make sense? So I almost don't want to ruin that. No, I don't want to ruin that by looking at the guidebook. Not that I think the guidebook's going to be bad or anything, just that I've already sort of associated my own shit with it. Like here on this dog card, we've got our domesticated dog, but up here we've got our little howling wolf. Love. Yep. Book. Here's a palace. This, I think, is the only card that depicts the sun. The ones who came before. I don't know why I spent so much time looking at this little statue thing back here. Like, it's got 4 arms, and it can go, like, 4 different ways. Like, maybe it's got 1 arm on its hip there and out like that, or maybe it's got it up. I don't know. I spent a lot of time looking at these cards. Okay. This is maybe the Aurora Borealis. Here we have the witches. I feel like this is a perfect deck for like storytelling too. Here's the forest, right? You're wandering through the forest. Boom, you run into some witches. And then if these cards are next to each other, we can see they're lining up into one continuous scene. The weavers. The graveyard. Here we have Death's little flag from the RWS. The zenith. The goddess. Little animals and things gathering around her. The butterfly. The cat. The cave. So I am currently like balls deep in Namqua's Shadow Journeying November. And I feel like I'm kind of seeing everything through that lens. And I feel like this deck it probably has a place in this. I don't feel like this deck is going to function like any other deck that I have. And I'm super excited to see how it fits into the Shadow Journeying. There's the Revelry. Little fireworks in the sky. The Fawn. The Fairy Ring. I think there's little fairies. The Mountain. Got Saturn up here. The Rift. It's a really interesting card. The Bridge. I like that I feel like some of these are things that you just don't really see in other decks. The Merchant. Look at his positioning here with the hand on top of the coin. Almost makes me think of maybe the Four of Pentacles. Yeah. Rider-Waite-Smith deck. The Figure by the Fire. I don't think I've ever seen a Figure by the Fire in any other Oracle deck. Here's the Pomegranate. The Crossroad. And the Guidebook has a couple of really interesting, well, it's got quite a few interesting spreads in it, but there's one of them with the Bridge card, and then there's one with this Crossroad card that specifically goes in the center of it, and that's fucking super cool. Like, it's not just some spreads that would really work with other decks. The way this functions, these are spreads very specific to the way that this deck works. The Waterfall. The Diplomat. The Mirror Pool. The Lighthouse. The Giants. Love this card. What the fuck's going on back here? The Herald. The Healer. The Mystic. The Clashing Armies. The Archway. The Cohort. Well, the first thing I thought of when I saw this, I saw like Gandalf and trying to see if these are like members of the Fellowship, right? I don't know. The Observatory. The Unicorn. It's got little fairies around it. The Pair. I could be wrong. I believe this is Venus up here. The Fallen Hero. I love this card. It's a different spin on the whole hero shit. A lot to think about here. The Sword. The Bard. The Tree. The Lightning Striking. The stark shadows here. The Distant Walled City. Again, I know what this means, but I've never seen it in another deck. Just, I love the approach to this. The Fisher. The Wasteland. Is that Mars up there? And finally, the Fields. It looks like a new moon. It's harvest time. So this deck is just so cool. I cannot wait to like really get started working with this. It's just... I feel like it has so many uses. Like, how do you even start picking how to start working with it first, you know? I don't know, man. Maybe I'm the only one losing my shit over this, but I just love this. So I did get the I grabbed the Ink Witch Tarot. Let's take a look at that too, because it is the tarot deck that sort of came first. It's by the same guy, so it does have a different kind of feel, just because of the colors. We've got warm kind of browns, and this one's the cool blues. Let's get these guys out of here. So I'll definitely be doing a review on this deck after I've worked with it for a little while. If I do end up incorporating it into my shadow journeying, I don't know for sure if I'm actually going to be sharing what I do with it in that way or not. Alright, so let's get out the guidebook here. Let's move this back a little. Get out of here. Alright. So we got little black and white pictures of the cards. So here we have, I don't want to read these, okay? I'm sorry. If you want to read them, that's too bad. We've got each of the cards here. At the beginning, we've got notes about reading with multiple cards. Here's the glossary of cards. They're all alphabetical, super easy to find when you're looking for a specific card. It's a little bit about Marioramas. Closure, talking about gutters as they sort of appear like in comic books and things. Some spreads. I don't want to be on those too long. I don't want anyone stealing the spreads here. So I am so excited to work with this deck. Probably at some point I will give in and read some of the guidebook as far as what the cards are supposed to mean. But not until I feel like I sort of have my own ideas for them. Because, as I've said before, I tend to read more intuitively. And honestly, this deck, according to the guidebook, was really made to be read intuitively. Part of me wants to, like, color these edges if I can find the right color. But, like, what if it bleeds into the cards and I'm fucked? Alright, so, this deck, I'll put a link to, I don't know. I don't know if these are available right now for purchase or not. I'm sure there's a website that has something to do with this that I'll link down in the description box. Like I said, this was a Kickstarter that is currently being shipped out to the patrons of it. So, speaking of patrons, I am not a patron, but if you were, you would get 3 extra cards that goes with this deck. An artist, a patron, and one other thing. I don't remember. Alright, but yeah, so people have these decks, you know, winging their way toward them through the mail right now. But I'm sure that it's going to be available after this. I'm not sure how long after or anything like that. I didn't look any of that up, but I'll look for you and stick that in the description box. This is my Louis Vuitton scarf. Tag says it's Louis Vuitton and that it's silk. It might be fake. I got it from like this little church-run secondhand store, but just in case it is real, I always make sure that I have a healthy amount of disrespect for it. So that's why it's looking like that. It's also a pain in the ass to pick up cards on. Alright, so this was just a little look at the Endless Oracle. Thanks for watching. Bye.